Hi, I am Ren Dunning, and this is my third progress vlog into learning JavaScript. This week I worked on functions. So I'm just going to run through a couple of lessons that I learned. I didn't work on a whole lot of projects, I just worked on learning this week. So here I worked on calling a function. So I made a function called say thanks, and then in that body function I logged thank you for your purchase, we appreciate your business. And then I called it. I called that function by saying, uh, calling this function name, and then it's going to print out what it said, and it'll print it 3 times since I put it 3 times, and since I called it 3 times. So there you are. That's pretty simple. Then we move on. Parameters and arguments. I learned that parameters are inside of this first parenthesis set in a function, and that, these brackets right here, that's the actual body of it. So this is the parameter, and then I can later set that parameter to something. So I can write out this function, log thank you for your purchase plus the variable of name, or in this case, a parameter of the function, and then add we appreciate your business. And then later on, this is excuse me, an alternative to variables. So instead of setting up the variable before the function, I can now call the variable name, say thanks, and add that parameter in the parentheses, and it's going to run um, right here. So if I run this, it's going to say thank you for your purchase, Cole. We appreciate your business. And that's what I got from calling it and including that parameter inside of the parentheses following the function identifier. Next, I have default parameters. Here I worked on, um, again, just create another function, and that function identifier is going to be make shopping list. And then those parameters that I filled out here, that item 1 would equal milk, and then item 2 equals bread, and item 3 equals eggs. And then here I logged in the function body, calling all of those parameters in the function and saying remember to buy so and so. If we run this, those parameters are going to fill in. Oops, looks like I have a problem here. I will be right back, and I'm going to patch that. Alright, I found my error. I'm sorry about that little bump, I just didn't notice that before I started recording. I made the most easiest mistake in learning functions. I forgot to call it. I did all of this coding that I did was right, the function body and the parameters and everything. The one thing I didn't do was call the function. So now that I called it, it's gonna run and it's gonna give me that shopping list. But yeah, I made that silly mistake of forgetting to call it. Which actually brings us perfectly to return. Um, Returns are kind of like calling the function. So we create a function here, and then the identifier, is monitor count, and those parameters are sent to rows and columns. And then we use the return to send us back on the console, return what rows times columns equals. And then right here we can um, set that number of monitors variable. We can create a number of monitors variable, and we can set that equal to the identifier of the function, monitor count, and we can create values for those parameters of rows and columns that we have up here. So we're going to set rows to 5 and columns to 5 using this little ordered pair, and then we're going to log it and log number of monitors, and this should give us, after plugging in the parameters, it should return to us to the monitor rows times columns. And there we go. So the number of monitors is going to be 20. And then here on my last lesson of the week, I learned about function expressions, where you can set the variable first and then have it equal a function and then have the function body in there. So this is a little calculator on when you should water your plants. So that function has a parameter of day, and then I utilize an if and else statement in those return keys, and set if the day equals to Wednesday, then return true that we need to water the plants. But if else the day does not equal Wednesday, so any other value than Wednesday, then return false, we don't need to water the plants. So then here I sent that, I called the function and set that parameter equal to Tuesday, and then I'm just going to log it to the consoles of the result that I get for this little print right here about whether or not I should water the plants. There we go. And since it's not Wednesday, since that value is something other than Wednesday, it's going to return false, so we do not need to water the plants. So that's what I worked on this week. Lots of functions and learning through beginner functions, and gonna get more into depth next week about that. But yes, I'm proud of my work this week, and I will have another vlog for you, vlog number 4. I'll have that for you guys by next Friday. All right, thank you for watching.